First of all, I would like to say thank you very much for this opportunity to participate in this conference, and I want to say two words in Tatar. Біріншіден мен сізге Қазаннан көп сәлемлер тапшыра тілеймін һәм сіздің байрамыңызға қатнашуға бик шатмын. Шуның үшін сізге шул байрамнарны әйбәт итеп уздырырга һәм сезгә көп уңышлар телим. My presentation will analyze the activity of the Muslim deputies of the State Duma in the pre-revolutionary period. My question today: can we consider the member of Muslim faction of the State Duma as a national elite of the late imperial Russia? In most scholarly works that analyze the Russian parliament, the deputies are described as a political elite. Almost all scientists agree that elites in this ruling group, which is the upper stratum of the society, and elite, especially the political one, stand on top of the state pyramid, controlling the strategic state resource, making decisions at national level. Researchers make an accent either on the value characteristic or on functional qualities. The questions of whether the Duma can be considered a parliament in the strict sense of the word is still debatable. Experts note the three most important functions of a parliament: control, legislate, and represent. In my opinion, the pre-revolutionary Duma was severely restricted in its rights in all those three functions. But, in my opinion, despite all restrictions, the Duma can be called a parliament. During the entire period of its existence, from 1906 to spring of 1917, it fulfilled the function accorded to it by law, but in addition, the State Duma became a podium from which the Russian society was able to legally and publicly express its desires, views and goals, and its own position on various issues. At the same time, the member of the State Duma did not have a real power and could hardly be ranked among the highest political elites of the country. Even more difficult was the matter with deputies who represent in the Duma non-elite parts of the population and non-Russian nationalities, including the Muslim population of the Russian Empire. The second analytical category that is used to analyze the activities of Muslim deputies is the concept of nation building that took place in Russia and USSR in the first third of 20th century. Practically all public and political activity of Russian Muslims at the beginning of 20th century proceeded under the slogan, "One single Muslim nation." Muslim deputies in the Duma spoke not so much as leaders of political parties, but rather as defenders of the interests of Muslim community or a single Muslim nation. The Muslim faction of the Russian parliament was distinct from other factions and groups, no less by its goals and tasks than by its composition. Primarily, it was consisted on the basis of confessional affiliation at the time when the majority of the other groups were formed according to party, ethnic, or territorial affiliation. The political experience of Muslim deputies was based on the complex of religious, ethnic, and regional identity. 78 Muslim deputies were elected in all four Dumas, and 25 deputies to the first Duma, 36 deputies to the second Duma, 10 to the third and only 7 deputies to the last for Duma. Since some of deputies were elected several times, for example, Kutluk Mohammed Tefkelев even 4 times, 67 deputies were elected several times. 67 Muslims represent the main Islamic or Muslim regions of the empire. Volga-Ural region, the Caucasus, Crimea, Semirechye, and Turkestan. The share of Muslims among the entire deputy corps ranged from almost 7% in the second Duma to 1.5% in the last pre-revolutionary Duma. Limited electoral law and discriminatory electoral practice led to the fact that the non-Russian minority was in reality only a decorated part of a parliament. It is clear that the small number of Muslim deputies made it impossible to turn them into a real and influential political force. According to the ethnic composition, Muslim deputies represented the main ethnic groups of the country, albeit unevenly. The Volga-Ural Tatars were the largest elected group to the Duma, 25 members. The second largest group were Azerbaijan's, 11 persons. Next came Kazakhs, 9, Bashkirs, 7, Lezgins, 4, Uzbeks, 3, Krim Tatars, 2, Turkmens and Chechens, 1 each. The idea to forming a Muslim faction appears to have arisen spontaneously, but period of time was needed for initiating and realizing it. The separate Muslim faction was organized in Second Duma, and the separate Muslim faction existed also in following Dumas, although it was extremely small. In Second Duma, it was Muslim faction consists from 30 members and 8 and 9 members in Third Duma, and only 6 persons in last 4 Duma. Among the numerous problems with portraits from some Muslim deputies, and among the numerous problems discussed during the full extent of existence of Russian parliament, the following problems were the most important for Muslim. First, religious legislation, issues of public education, resettlement policy and situation of Muslim periphery, judicial reform, the issue of holidays, the Muslim holidays for Muslim population, and so on. It was during the consideration of those issues in the commissions and in particular during the general discussions that the members of Muslim faction were most active. On fundamental issues, Muslim deputies usually took a consolidated position. The role of Muslim deputies was very limited, and among the objective shortcomings of Muslim deputies can be called such as the objective limitations of rights and of the free hands of all deputies of all Duma, the small number of Muslim deputies, the limited role of Muslim at the structural level of the legislative chamber. For example, Muslim deputies practically did not occupy leading posts in parliamentary structures. And finally, during the Duma debates, the so-called Muslim question was never raised, even it was limited form as it was formulated with regard to Jewish or Polish question. At the same time, Muslim deputies united within the framework of single and independent Muslim faction They played an important role in representing the interests of Muslim population. And it was important representation with interests on the all-imperial level. They acted as representative of a weighty group of interests which one could not ignore. Despite the insignificant results of the law-making activity of both Muslim deputies and the Duma as a whole, the participation of Muslim representatives in the work of the Russian parliament was of great importance for the formation of political movement of Muslim population in general and of certain ethnic groups in particular. The State Duma was in Imperial Russia the only Russian political platform through which representatives of the Muslim community could publicly and legally defend their national interest, learn to express their demands, and find the right political allies. Inside the Muslim community, the role of Muslim deputies was more significant than at the all-imperial level. This is confirmed by the fact that in 1917, the former deputies headed the national movements and processes of the formation of the national states in their regions. For example, in 1917-1918, the Tatar deputies Sadri Maksudi, Gaisai Nikeyev, Akram Biglov, and Benjamin Akhtyamov played an extremely important role in the Tatar national movement in the Volga-Ural region, and Fatali Khanhoysky, Khalilbek Khasmamedov, Ali Mardanbek Topchibashov, Mamed Yusuf Jafarov stood at the head or were part of the government of independent Azerbaijan. Asked whether the Muslim deputies were part of the Russian political elite, one could answer that they were more likely to be a counter-elite or a part of a new political elite in the state of its formation. In the 1917-1918, they had a real chance to become a true political elite, if not on the scale of the whole of Russia, then at least in its regions among its ethnic groups. In general, it can be said that the ambivalent character of the Muslim representation in the Russian parliament, as well of the State Duma itself, testify to the complex nature of the political process in the late imperial Russia. Thank you very much for your attention.